In the heart of our great nation, where the strength of our communities is built upon the foundation of strong and loving families, an urgent crisis is unfolding. Child Protective Services, CPS, an institution designed to safeguard our most vulnerable, has in many cases betrayed its noble mission. Too often, families are torn apart not by neglect or abuse, but by systemic failures and corruption. We can no longer stand idly by as these injustices continue. We are here to give a voice to those who have been isolated, to shine a light on the corruption, and to rally our fellow citizens in this critical fight for justice. Every day, countless families are caught in a web of bureaucracy and abuse of power, their lives disrupted and their bonds shattered. Children, who should be nurtured and protected, are instead placed in situations that can be just as, if not more, harmful than the circumstances from which they were taken. Parents, often bewildered and powerless, face insurmountable odds as they fight to reunite with their children. This is not the America we believe in. We cannot allow these injustices to persist. Our mission is to educate, to inform, and to inspire action. We promise to bring you daily updates on CPS, exposing the truth and fighting for reform. We must remember that the future of our nation depends on the strength and unity of our families. By standing together, we can hold CPS accountable and ensure that it fulfills its true purpose, protecting children and preserving families. This is a fight we must not and will not lose. We are committed to saving our families and securing a brighter future for all. The road ahead is challenging, but with your support, we can make a difference. Together, we will bring hope to those who have lost it and ensure that justice prevails. Let us unite with unwavering resolve and a sense of patriotic duty to safeguard the integrity of our families and the future of our nation.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS and abolish CPUFist.com is leading the way. Join us.
What is up, everybody? It is Wednesday night, and we are CPS Victims Fighting Justice. I'm your host right now, Vinny. I'm in the dark. Let me fix that. Let me find my remote here somewhere. There it is. Darren will be here shortly. He's running a little bit behind. So he should be here. So I want to stress out to you parents tonight before Darren gets here. I know he's listening. So you guys don't know about our chat that we have. We have a chat, and it's so we can talk and discuss things and do schedules and line up people to do shows. I just want to get this out there to you parents to understand where I am coming from and why I say some of the things I say. Um, Parents really need to start making their voices heard. Stop hiding in the shadows. Stop letting these courts, these CPS people, these attorneys get over on you because they are doing so. There's tons of information out there, tons of parents fighting the same thing. You don't need to be in the shadows. I have been seeing parents speak up, and our voices are starting to get louder and louder. Um, you know, it, there's tons of us out there. Stand with Meg, um, Connie Regal, um, Tanawa Downing, Malibu Dallas, um, and many, many more. Wicked Warriors, our show, of course, and tons and tons and tons of groups. You just got to watch who you're talking to on there because some of them are caseworkers. Um, and I think it's time that we show the caseworkers what they're really doing to families and how they really are victimizing us parents, um, separating us from our children, alienating our children. They're the problem. I came up with a new nickname for them. Um, it's not CPS. It's Child Pedo Services, because that's what they are. They abuse our kids emotionally, physically, even sometimes sexually. And trust me, from what I've seen in the reports that I've read, yeah, why is an adult male looking at my 4-year-old naked? That's a problem to me. That is sick. That is disgusting. And I will not stand for that. I will not. So, for all these people out there that have judged me by listening to my story and hearing what I have been through, you guys don't know the half of it. You do not know the half. There is a lot more to my story that I have not shared. A lot more. You know, I too have to hide some of me because I too am afraid to speak what's really on my mind because I may scare a lot of fucking people, to be honest. And I don't want to do that because I know the truth inside me. I know the hate that has been there since day one. That darkness lays within myself. I am trying to get it out, but it sticks. It's like the bottom of your gut. It doesn't want to move. It's just right there knowing, what really, truly you did wrong to deserve this. And it just sticks with you. Like more than you guys can even fathom sticks with you. You know, I helped raise 2 kids that weren't even my kids, and their father wanted nothing to do with them. Nothing. He abandoned them for a woman. That's no father. Me, I was there. I helped raise these 2 kids. When their mother wasn't working and she had no money really, who do you think went to work? And I did some really shitty jobs. Literally. I worked pushing shit, human feces, in a whole summertime to provide for these children. And it fell in it. I literally had the shittiest job. I worked at Shaw's. I worked at a gas station. I worked at a bottle redemption. I worked on a farm taking care of animals, all kinds. Lots of dogs, lots of ducks, lots of geese, emus, a donkey, horses, cows, chickens, like
Reindeer.
all of it. Reindeer, deer. I went out in the pens and I could go walk up to the deer and they would come over to me and take the apple out of my hand. Don't you think if a deer was scared of me, they would not take that apple, they would stay away? Think about that. My sister's dogs, for instance, they bark at everyone, but they all three of them love me. And they're chihuahuas. They love the shit out of me. When I'm sitting upstairs, they'll come over and Maddie, the smallest one, she's like a micro midget one. Um, she comes right over to me and goes like this at my leg and wants me to pick her up and hold her. Animals know when people are bad. Animals know when people are not. But same with children. Children know the same thing. That was God's blessing to our children to pick up on it. Teenagers, they're rambunctious, they're out of control. They've been doing what they want, getting away with what they want, accusing people of bullshit, and it's okay? No, that is not okay. These kids nowadays don't know what it was like growing up in the 80s, where you were made to go outside every single goddamn day of the week. You did your homework, you were outside. You knew when that light came on, it was time to be in, time to be home. That's where I grew up. And I grew up in the Albany, New York. I grew up on 3rd Street, 2nd Street. Um, then one street over were my cousins. They were all Puerto Rican, every single one of them. So like we were always out and about. We rode our bikes all the way to the goddamn mall. If it took us 2 hours to get there, it took us 2 hours to get there. You know, nowadays kids don't know what real world is. They're too busy. This. Their phone in their face, or their tablet in their face, or the computer in their face, or their game systems. They don't know what it's like to be a child and to actually play in the mud, build forts, drink from a goddamn hose. They have no understanding whatsoever. None. And that's what these schools have indoctrinated on our children. And parents have allowed it. I'm sorry, but we have. We, the people, have done a shitty job protecting our life, our way of life, and the way we bring up our children. And CPS fed on that. And they used it to exploit into their money system. They have been taking our constitution rights for years. No one even notices. There's something wrong with that, people. For them to be taking away something that belongs to we the people, we the parents, we the children, come on now. That is a blatant smash in our face. Haha, we're government. We just took whatever power you had. Did I just wake some of you up to what's really the bigger picture here? But back in 2017, Trump returned the power to the people, which meant from hence that day forth, and Biden kept signing the order for it, kept signing it 4 times. Okay. So that order never ran out, not once. He returned everything back to us. And they are watching and waiting for we, the people, we, the parents, to make our move. Stop playing in these kiddie courts. Stop. They're not getting you nowhere. They're not. It's time to bring the rain. It's time to go after every single one of these people that have wronged us, because that's what they are looking for. They want a list of names on a lawsuit. And attorneys, they're in on it. I hate to tell you guys. The attorneys are in on the sick game. I found that out today too. I did some research on that. The attorneys are part of it. Obviously, they work for the court and CPS. It's sickening. It really is. I think Darren's with us. Yes, he is. We got our boss man in the house.
Vincent,
Darren.
how are you tonight, my fine sir? Thank you for that. I was running late from work.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. I was outside earlier too. I was raking away and cleaning up the driveway more. I fixed my rake.
Oh, good, good. I was like, man, what can you do with a broken rake? Not much.
Yeah. Well, you know what I did is I pried the piece open,
Mm-hmm.
and I put a new stick down inside that I found. And I took a clamp, one of the, the round ones that you can screw together clamp,
Mm-hmm.
and I tightened the hell out of it to the point where it wrapped that thing back in and it fitted around the piece.
Right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's my
Little
man. Getting stuff fixed up.
Man ingenuity.
That's right. Man ingenuity. So, what we got going on, Danny?
Oh, I was just discussing with them, how we the people have let these people take our children.
It does seem like it's happening, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But, look, man, here's the deal. There is so many of us out there with CPS that have been involved in our lives that us alone in our sheer numbers is enough to have a movement. These people, you figure, let's just do this number, right? We got 10 million kids missing in 20 years, okay? 10 million times what? Times, hold on one second. Tommy, don't you... All right, sorry about that. So you got 10 million kids disappeared, or not disappeared, taken from their families over the past 20 years, all right? Now times that by 2 parents, that's 20 million parents. 20 times 10, or 20 plus 10, that's 30 million. So just between parents and kids alone, which we know it's a low number and a lying number, that's 30 million parents and kids gone in 20 years. Now they have uncles and sisters and brothers, and that's obviously a low-sided number. So you're looking at the potential of having 100 million people to come out and back you in that movement. That's enough to sway movements. That's enough to sway parties. That's enough to sway anything. So they will have to listen to us, because a number like that they can't even ignore. I mean, how many people are in the United States? 383 million, maybe? I think something like that. If it's even that, I'm not sure what the population. Let me look. Population of the United States. Alexa, what's the population of the United States?
In 2024, the population of the United States was 342 million.
So 342 million. We get 100 million people. That is a third, a little less than a third of this country. Less than a third, a little less, but not even by much, like an ass here. And that's only if it's by those numbers and not. Do you know what you could do if those sheer numbers, and you could get everybody to vote on your, you talk about wanting to take the government back, Vinny. This is how we take the government back. We get the like-minded people to come out and vote the way that you want to vote. That way that you can get to put the people in power. That's how we're going to get our kids back, because these people have a lot to say. We don't want other grandparents or parents going through this stuff ever again. We don't want to see any of them having to shed the same tears that we have. This is not a good thing for this country. It's not a good thing for the children of this country, and it's not a good thing for the future of this country.
Well,
so
I would say on that, what we need to do is get all of us, we the people, together somehow, some way, all come together, okay, and have a meeting of we the people, and don't let these lawyers in, don't let these assholes in. It's just the we the people only. You know,
I mean,
that means
everybody, listen, we the people also says all men are created and looked upon as equals. So, you know what? Some of these people might be assholes, but some of them also deserve the chance to come out, and people do change. Don't forget that. People do change, Vinny, you know? You got to look at
that is
that side of
true. I
things.
mean, that is true. Okay,
Now, I'm
so
not saying if the guy just came down and he beat his little kid, you know, when before he came to the show, yeah, that's a different story. But you
right.
know, like Mrs. X CPS worker that has seen enough and has had enough, and she whistle blew and all of this stuff. That doesn't mean that we can't welcome her into our
Well,
you know our
that's definitely a
pseudo
lot different.
family and call her, you know, sister or brother or whatever.
Right, right. That's definitely a lot different. All of us together and all talk, and you know, I'm thinking that most of it's going to be a lot of parents and families, really. Um, get all of them together that understand what is actually going on and why these children are missing, and we come up with a plan to attack, and we make it an amendment of our own into our constitution that states
Right.
CPS is to not touch any of our children ever, and if they do, they can be hung. Why can't we?
Mhm. Well, I
It's
mean, them getting a meeting
treason and
together would be
sedition.
tough, but there's no reason why we can get something to start and to start making the motions towards this movement. But see, Vinny, that's what we're trying to do here. That's what the idea of this. What do we say here, Vinny? What do we say? What's our saying here for bringing people together?
Back it up.
All right. So there's what Pack It Up is all about. It's getting all of us in here together, like-minded people. So I've almost got the website done. On the website, there's spots where you can come in. You can put the name of your movement, your group, and everything. You got your own page right there. So anybody that's got movement stuff or they got their own thing, that's fine. They put it in there. They got their own free page right there, their own free splash page, you know, or landing page, whatever you want to call it. It's got chat rooms. It's a community because we're going to build that fucking community so we can unite the 100 million people. They can all come there. And that's what we're promoting. Like, because as long as we can show that they're all under one roof, that they're all right there for us, that they're all 100% committed and powerful in itself, because you know what, by themselves we aren't very strong at all, but together we fucking won't be fucked with. And that's exactly what we need to do. It's exactly how we need to do it. And once we do that, then it's not going to be a joke. It's not going to be even a question when we step up to the podium in the Senate seats or wherever we set up to go. It's not going to be like, oh, that's them and this, and there's not going to be 7 people showing up. You're going to have like January 6th fucking size shit happening, and people want answers, and they want answers. They want retribution. They want all of this stuff, you know, and then they will do nothing more than accept freedom as a changing or an outcome, you know, like all of us to be free as we are in our own homes, in our own places. This is our house, our yard. We do what we will. I mean, short of going out and killing someone, which you can't do, or robbing someone. Other than that, man, leave us alone. We're not doing those things. See you later. Bye. You know, but that's where I'm at with that, man. Like, it's time, like, it's gonna be up to us to raising the bar, to get people to come here, to understand, to join with us. Because we get people to come here. Are they all standing with us, joining with us? No, not really. But a lot of them have, you know. Albie, Athena, Naylor, you know, Danielle, Brenda was already with us. You know what I'm getting at, though. We have plenty of people that are here full timers, and we need more and more and more and more. And these full timers that we already have are amazing. They're doing a great job, you know, doing this stuff. But you know, unfortunately, we just need more and more and more and more. But once we get there, we'll be fine. Oh man! Hello, Gunner.
What's going on, man?
What's happening, dude? Did you
Just
see the
jumping
message I
in.
sent you?
No, I did not. Where did you send
Okay,
me?
we need to look at that. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and that's how I feel, and you're not going to sway me away from that. It's been unfortunate that lawsuits have been kind of just like damage in the wind at this point for a minute. Not too damaged, but you know, for a few moments in time. Yes, that was funny. All right, so
Gotcha.
you got that one.
Where?
Okay, brother.
Where?
Um,
I just don't get
In the
notifications
heart of our
in
great
that
nation,
section.
yeah, well,
where
you
the
will.
strength
You will now because he's going to. Yeah, hell with it. Let's play it. Want
is
to play it,
built
Benny?
upon the
Yeah,
foundation of
play it.
strong
Yeah,
and loving
play it.
families, an urgent crisis is unfolding. Child Protective Services, CPS, an institution designed to safeguard our most vulnerable, has in many cases betrayed its noble mission. Too often, families are torn apart not by neglect or abuse, but by systemic failures and corruption. We can no longer stand idly by as these injustices continue. We are here to give a voice to those who have been isolated, to shine a light on the corruption, and to rally our fellow citizens in this critical fight for justice. Every day, countless families are caught in a web of bureaucracy and abuse of power, their lives disrupted and their bonds shattered. Children, who should be nurtured and protected, are instead placed in situations that can be just as, if not more, harmful than the circumstances from which they were taken. Parents, often bewildered and powerless, face insurmountable odds as they fight to reunite with their children. This is not the America we believe in. We cannot allow these injustices to persist. Our mission is to educate, to inform, and to inspire action. We promise to bring you daily updates on CPS, exposing the truth and fighting for reform. We must remember that the future of our nation depends on the strength and unity of our families. By standing together, we can hold CPS accountable and ensure that it fulfills its true purpose, protecting children and preserving families. This is a fight we must not and will not lose.
Amen.
We are committed to saving our families and securing a brighter future for all. The road ahead is challenging, but with your support, we can make a difference. Together, we will bring hope to those who have lost it and ensure that justice prevails. Let us unite with unwavering resolve and a sense of patriotic duty to safeguard the integrity of our families and the future of our nation.
Hell yeah. That is a pretty good video right there. That's what it's all about. It's like the hokey pokey, but that's what it's all about. Gunnar, what's your thoughts on this business, man? About this whole, like if I don't know how much you heard there, what you were listening to, but like what, like people are sitting here belly aching and everything else, but we've got enough people to make this movement be something of a burden to anybody who ever again. Now, we talked about Trump giving back the United States to the people. Well, this is exactly what he was talking about. He was talking about giving back the country to the people. And here you go. Do with it what you will, but do with it solidly, carefully and all of this stuff. He wants to see what the people will do. He wanted to see what the people would do, how they would react, what would happen with a lot of different things,
It's the test of the people.
Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts, my man?
You're muted.
Gunner's muted.
I don't know why, Gunner. You're like muted. There, try that.
So here's the thing. One of the
Yep.
jobs of our president that most people don't know is to inspire the nation, especially collectively, to come together, to be Americans, and to walk in our freedoms and in our Constitution, which is he's saying he's restoring. But understanding this, it's up to us to take it back and get off of our asses and do some things and come together and use our voice, use our power, use the systems, use the courts. He's already called them out of saying all these unconstitutional administrative judges that are not under the judicial branch that every state is running is solely under the power of the president. And he's saying, I'm coming after you, and when I find what I do, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to impeach you. But it's going to take the people to rise up and start figuring out some of the violence and things. But that's why the Republican Party was calling for the abolition of the American Bar Association. They're
Well,
saying this is
did
not
you know?
because these lawyers are not going to file on this because they're making too much money off the states.
Did you know that they're actually using X to do their polls on what
Yeah.
the parents and what we the people think. They want to know yes or no. They want a thumbs up. They ask. They've been
Right.
doing polls on there. That's how they're getting the poll numbers because they're using X as poll numbers.
Well, and they're calling out abuse of calling things and redacting things that don't need to be redacted from the American people. That's
Right.
not transparency. That's something hidden. Why was
Right.
all this stuff that's being released now and declassified up to a certain point of this is stuff that why was it classified other than to hide a crime? And that's what it was coming out about. And it's slowly
Mhm.
pulling back the curtain, but it's still up to us to learn that we've been lied to, start looking around and start reevaluating what we're doing, how we're
Correct.
living, and going, this is not the way I want to live. I want to live free. I'm in
Right.
chains.
What
Right.
are we going to do with it?
Just like there should be when it comes to our kids, there should be a rule amongst us parents and we the people. We're supposed to watch out for each other. That has been
Of
our
course.
job throughout time.
Well,
Okay.
now,
And that's
Vinny,
what we all grew up on is our neighborhoods. Everyone watched everyone's kids.
Vinny, that's community.
Right.
What did they?
That's
What
what
was the tactical thing to take and do? We shut down your fucking community with COVID-19. You're all isolated.
Yep.
There is no community. That had a psychological effect to the American people as well as the world. It changed everything in a drop of a hat. To see that much panic worldwide was, I thought, was ignorant because, well, and here's why. And I have a
Just go
unique,
easy on this topic.
well, and here's why. I am a former first responder. I was exposed to Ebola. It is a very highly contagious disease. We are trained as first responders, and you're part of that group, to handle emergency situations involving any threat that comes to America or disease. I mean, these things happen because we have immigrants and other things go through the air and birds, and there's all sorts of things. But they're trained to respond to it. But there's things you learn when you go through that stuff. One, incubation period, you understand that thing. We had to be isolated for an incubation period to make sure we didn't contract anything. And they ran several tests constantly, like every so often. I mean, you were just a pincushion once you were in there. And anybody that's ever been in those situations or had to deal with that, they'll tell you the same thing. You are completely isolated because it's highly infectious. So the issue is that when they have those, there's extreme protocols for safety and to contain. And when none of those were being followed, and the way that I was hearing it from a lot of the first responders, especially that knew about those things because we were specially trained in them, it didn't make any sense. If it's that bad, why aren't we following what protocols we know we're supposed to follow when you come into this stuff? And that would include, if you were considered infected, you had to fill out and sat with a person of like, hey, Vinny, you've caught something, whatever it may be, and it's highly contagious. We've got you isolated. We're getting you treatment, but we need to stop the spread. And this is what certain organizations are for, is where have you been, Vinny? What have you touched? Where have you pooped, slept, anything else this long? Why? Because they're going to check and say, Vinny, you're this far along with what you have. We've confirmed you have it, and this is about how far you are, because they've documented this stuff. And when they do that, then they go back and they ask, and then they grab all those people and they test those groups to make sure it hasn't spread. Then they go there and they disinfect these areas. This is standard protocol. across the United States, 100%. In major metropolitan areas, when they have to sterilize those areas, you'll see them there with hazmat, proper, suits. You're going to see them there with chemicals that are approved for killing everything and spraying everything down and, bagging off, especially open areas. Enclosed areas are completely different. You have to go through the HVAC system, and all that has to be flushed and cleaned. But there are protocols that we do have in this country to deal with what they did. But once again, I was considered, even with what I did, I was considered essential personnel. Why? I was a master electrician and owner of a company. If we are needed, people don't understand this also, people that are part of the infrastructure, we can be called up at any time and our skill sets be used anywhere in the time of an emergency. It goes with our license in needs of emergencies, especially in the electrical field, and what kind of training and certs and everything else that they need. But they will round them up, and yes, you can be both by the state and federal government. You're able to be brought up because of those reasons. It's something we know that's very well known in the trades. But none of it, like I said, none of it happened. We were out there working, so it just changed what we did. We didn't really lock down, but we saw a lot of people give up, their freedoms and a lot of other things, and a lot of people and businesses telling people what to do that were just so unconstitutional, it wasn't funny. And then we did get a ruling in the courts because somebody brought this into the courtroom and says, hey, is the Constitution suspended during an epidemic or pandemic? And there's actually a ruling out there that the Supreme Court has ruled, no, under no circumstance is the Constitution ever suspended for any reason. And I think we went over that, didn't we, Vinny? With the ball and the flag.
You know the answer to this, Vinny. The ball and the flag, baby. What's in the ball and the flag?
The eagle?
What's in the ball and the flag that sits upon the American flag? Go ahead, Darren. Give it to him. I think I lost him. So inside the ball of the flag is a knife
No.
and a match.
Nope.
Or is it a knife and a
Bullet.
match, or it's a match
Bullet and a match. Match and a
bullet
bullet.
and a match? Yeah. And the concept is that's to burn the flag and one last round to take your life as the last flag falls. That's when the country's over. That's when the Constitution is gone and this country has been overrun. That is how much our resolve is here in America. We will fight to the last person, which is why Japan says we've woken a sleeping giant when they bombed Pearl Harbor, because behind every blade of grass is an American with a gun, because we were known for our guns and what we were about to dump on them. And that is well known, but nowadays it's not as well known. We're kind of, somebody has that whole concept of, hey, go ahead and bomb our Pearl Harbor or whatever else, and we'll just turn the other cheek. Well, they didn't mean it. They were having a bad day. Their feelings got hurt, and that's how they retaliated. What did we do wrong that we got bombed? I mean, that was the shape our country was in. At the same time, it changed a lot of it. When Trump took office, everything straightened out. The military, the leaders, worldwide, it had an effect on who took office.
What's up, Mr. Herbert?
Hey, Vinny. Hello, Gunner.
Hello.
How are you this evening, Mr. Herbert? Can't hear you. Nope. Can't hear you.
It's on
Wait.
his device.
I
It's on ours.
had muted myself. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I just got back. I got back early, so I figured I'll try to get on the show because tomorrow I may not be able to. So I'm waiting for them to hire more people so I can have more time to myself. That's all that's going on.
See, Mama's in here. Well, how about this, guys? How about I got a short video for you? And let's see here.
While you're looking for your video, Gunner, Vinny, I sent you a video of a lady that's putting an action plan together for dealing with CPS in Texas. You received that?
I know who you're talking about. I have posted her thing out on Facebook. So
You should put that on the show tonight because that's really good. I mean, even Gunner would get a kick out of that.
Well, here's one for you guys. We've got one here for Social Security cards and a little history lesson.
Ooh.
Wilson, president between 1913 and 1921, from the private papers of Woodrow Wilson, quote, "Very soon, every American will be required to register their biological property in a national system designed to keep track of the people, and that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. By such methodology, we can compel people to submit to our agenda, which will affect our security as chargeback for our fiat paper currency. Every American will be forced to register or suffer not being able to work and earn a living. They will be our chattel, and we will hold the security interest over them forever by operation of law merchant under the scheme of secured transactions. Americans, by unknowingly or unwittingly delivered the bills of lading to us, will be rendered bankrupt and insolvent, forever to remain economic slaves through taxation secured by their pledges. They will be stripped of their rights and given commercial value, designated to keep us a profit that will be none the wiser." With Woodrow Wilson, president between 19...
Wow.
Who is that person that's speaking?
That is reading from President Woodrow Wilson's personal notes, personal biography. His own hand.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so she was reading from Woodrow Wilson's personal notes.
Yep, that was right
Gotcha.
in the video. It says, hey, this is right out of Woodrow Wilson. This is his personal memoirs, and these are found at the Library of Congress. You can go look through those yourself and find them under the archives, under presidential archives.
Albie, you can send them.
Gotcha.
You can send them to Darren at CPS Hunting Justice.
Yeah, we have a storage tank. That way we can hold on to them for you. You can put them right in there.
Yep.
Put Albie's files right in there.
Now, Vinny, would you be able to put on that video? Because I think it's really appropriate for what we're talking about with CPS.
You're talking about the woman from Texas.
And this lady has an action from Texas, yes.
All right, hold on.
And I think that people would like to see that because she has an action plan.
So, I mean, I don't know, Darren. I mean, what about the constitutionality of CPS? I mean, think about it. They're interfering with your religion, your culture, your belief, which is a First Amendment violation, which they don't even see that. Your Fourth Amendment, they're in your home. I mean, how many amendments do they have to break? And why was this never caught is our question.
Well, I think it was caught. It was definitely caught, man. It wasn't a matter of being caught. It's, you know what? Everybody started seeing the cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
Once they started seeing how much these babies were costing these institutions, once they saw the money rolling down the pike, because think about it, it's really, think about this. The federal government is giving money to the states' governments at ratios that don't even make sense, right? Like if for $1 of child support, you get 5 times. This is this isn't trickle down economics, man. This is
No.
fraud. This is a way that they're burying money so that they can. And I'm sure that there's a kickback somewhere else, somewhere in the state government, where it says, "Okay, out of this $5 you give me back for this child, you send us back this much in this and taxes and this like this." This is a whole rotating. That's why I'm saying, man, this thing is so big. This is why it's so hard, and it's not going to be taken down easily because everybody, whether it's the states, whether it's the federal government, whether it's the daycare down the street, whether it's the person that owns the housing and development down here that's going for Section 8, whether it's everybody has their hand out for Title IV funding, one way or the other.
Yeah.
So you're looking at trying to take down the machine that's paying the bills out of Title IV, and it's going to be tough.
And listen, man, the idea is to build communities, but when you start just, destroying communities, that's the whole basis of that in the family is the whole point of it, of the Constitution and the country is to protect us. Those laws that they have and those statutes and codes and everything else, those aren't for us. Those are for government employees to follow, and they're not even following their own statutes and codes. The law applies to all of us. I mean, there's even that one case law that we've shared before. That ruling, the Supreme Court, hey, this is not, all statutes, codes, and, are unlawful. They lack due process, and they're unconstitutional. There's a reason why they're written right for that, because they were for businesses. That was the idea, is the states could manage the commerce, the trade within their state. Was the whole point of your state government even existing, and other than that, to settle disputes of contract law. Other than that, they ain't got no business anywhere else, unless, of course, you violate somebody's constitutional rights or to an extreme measure to where you take somebody's life. Then you still have to analyze it with the Constitution. I mean, but all that is being enforced on the people, and that's what he was talking about. Woodrow Wilson is, we're going to press them down and make them our slaves, to where we're going to give them jobs and nice things and credit and great credit scores and this, that. And look at these idiots. They're happy, but they're not happy because they're in chains.
Yeah.
They don't even own their own house in most states because you don't have an allodial title, which is why you pay property tax. You don't own it. The state owns it. There's the other thing. So, once again, bring us back to the Constitution. Let's put that hard line down on what goes for the people and what goes towards commerce. That's what Trump's mad about, these judges, administrative judges. You're doing shit you ain't supposed to be doing and imposing your will upon the people that you don't have the power or the authority to do, because they're acting like the president himself. And no, they're only delegating a small, minuscule amount of power for them to take care of, and they just got a hold of this much. Imagine if they got a hold of all of it, what they would do.
It would be detrimental. It would be awful.
That's why our Constitution exists, because they knew this was going to come up, and it gave we the people. We were the ones that wrote the contract, guys. Us. We are the government. We said, government, this is what you will comply to. Otherwise, it's not us turning against our government. It's our appointed and elected officials that are going to get fired. You have no authority. And they have brainwashed you to think otherwise.
Now I can't
find what? Over us?
I can't find that video, Herbert. You'll have to resend it to me. But Darren, I sent you one that you should play so they kind of understand what really is going on.
Oh, Jesus, Vinny. Which one is it that we got here today, buddy?
I think you'll like this one.
Like and appropriate are two different.
Oh, it's appropriate. Trust me.
I hope you're not fibbing with you here.
I'm not. It's appropriate.
All right. Okay, Vinny here. All right, we need to make sure that when I'm looking up videos or we're looking up videos, we got to keep the conversation moving. My wife yells at me about this.
Oh yeah, she does. I always hear her too. She's like, "Oh well,
Yeah.
what happened here?" No,
Yeah.
this is very appropriate. I think that it will help gain some insight into what's really going on, so you guys will understand what's going on in these courtrooms and with these attorneys and why they're not doing their jobs. It kind of explains a bit of it. So I mean, I'm hoping that you guys will take heed to what we're about to share to you, and understand what the key component here is.
Let me see here.
But I think we lost Herbert.
Okay, I'll play this.
The Bar Association isn't a government entity. It's a private guild that controls who can and can't.
It is right here.
Lawyers don't represent you. They represent the court first.
What's up, Lauren?
Why the courts most judges, attorneys, and courts operate under corporate jurisdiction, not constitutional law. The Bar Association isn't a government entity. It's a private guild that controls who can and can't practice law. Lawyers don't represent you, they represent the court first. Why? Because once they take that bar oath, their loyalty belongs to the system, not the people. Ever wonder why the courts seem rigged? Why judges rule against the people in favor of the elite? Because the legal system is a fraudulent monopoly designed to protect the establishment and silence the people. It's time to expose the truth. Share this now before they silence us. Yeah, exposing lies, our legal system fraud, our bar monopoly, and truth revealed. Together we can challenge the system and reclaim our rights from those who wish to suppress the truth.
All right, now, let me ask you this. What is it that you want to see changed? Okay, so now here comes Trump. He waves a magic wand and he goes, ding. Okay, Vinny, it's your America. What are you going to do differently? How does your America look, Vinny?
Peaceful. Farms, gardens, animals around my house, my own food.
The way it used to be.
Okay. It's the same one, Brenda. The same link.
Peaceful, No worrying about, whether my kids can wander around the yard or not.
Well, you can still do that in this America. Go file yourself 80 freaking yards of property or 80 acres of property down there in Gunners, Tennessee and Appalachia and just go out in the woods and just live that way. You can still do it.
Not much anymore. They flooded all those areas. Oh, wait. I didn't say that.
Right. But you know what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying is like you can still live that America in this America that we have now. I don't know what happened to Herbert. Herbert left us. I mean, Gunner, for you, what is it? Like, here we go, magic wand. What is it? What's your America?
America, our forefathers dreamed of. Live under the Constitution. Live, actions have consequences. Accountability for your actions. Honesty, integrity, respect. Some of the foundational principles I believe that everybody should have. Just as simple as that. I mean, that's all I've ever wanted. All the rest of the stuff just needs to be shed. Other than that, let people live their lives. Let them spend their money. Let them work. Make sure everything's fair, equitable. Stand up for them. The whole 9 yards. I mean, and the other thing is don't look after just the big corporations. Look after the mom and pops like you should be. Treat them all equal.
Yeah.
There's the other part. I mean, because some things work for a big corporation, calls in and does something, versus a small business. It's always funny. Well, we had a problem with this or that, and it's a civil matter. How could somebody robbing you over $500 fucking be a civil fucking matter?
That's what took him so long, Darren. He was sending me the link to that video, and I just sent it to you.
Okay.
The one that Herbert wanted us to play.
Okay.
And I honestly think all these little groups that we have, I think it's going to take something big that will draw them together. But right now, there's still a lot of division. There's a lot of ideology out there of what it's going to take to do it, and nobody's cracked the code yet. And when somebody cracks the code, I believe it's just going to be like everything else. Everybody's going to finally jump on board and abandon all those other things that are out there and just stick with it and run with it as far as they can. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but in order to crack the code, you know what we need to do? We need to get rid of these school systems that are not educating our children, and go back to the old ways of teaching our children ourselves.
Well, Vinny, I'm not disagreeing with you one bit. I believe we should be learning everything. Every day's a lesson. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but every day I try to learn something new, and most times I learn at least 6, 7, 20 different fucking things new.
Well, I can say from that knowledge myself, because I have watched my sister raise her 3 kids, and I'll tell you what, the way she has them, they know not to mess with mom and dad. They know that if mom and dad say to do something, they do it. They're not spoiled rotten. You know, yes, one of them is a little slow, but I love my oldest niece to death. You know,
well, see, Vinny,
I help
hey, slow
raise.
isn't a flaw.
Listen
right.
here. It's all about family, though. And what is CPS doing? They're destroying that family core unit of trust,
and that's what
all the things that are established.
But that's what they're trying to do. They've been doing. And here's the thing: my sister told them point blank, "You ain't gonna fucking tear apart my family. I don't even have to let you in my fucking house."
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
get
at least you knew what to do.
He's not on state help. They work for a living.
Right.
You know, my sister is a great mother. I mean, they provide their own eggs. You know, she makes sure there's enough food in the house to go the whole entire week until they go shopping on Saturday. You know, they go out and eat out together. They do family things together.
Darren, I think Brenda's trying to get in and says something. She's waiting on you.
It's the same link, Brenda. It doesn't change.
You're in the wrong room, Brenda.
Did you?
Hey,
Vinny,
you probably went to the Brenda link instead of this link. They are different links. She's just
I
clicking on
sent
the
it to
wrong
Darren,
link.
Herbert.
Hey, Vinny, did you give the video to Darren?
I did.
Yeah.
Good. Darren, you want to play that video? It's very relevant to our conversations about CPS.
Yeah, sure will. I'm just trying to get this link over to Brenda.
I think that Gunnar will make comments about the video also.
Darren, what's your America look like? I mean, with the magic wand. I mean, let's turn that back on you. I mean, what do you?
My America?
Yeah, what's
My
your
America is just, listen, a place that we can just do whatever we want to do amongst each other as family and friends, and just not be left alone. I mean, not be left alone, be left alone. If I want to go outside and blow off fireworks at 3 a.m, then so be it. If I want to sleep in on a Saturday, I'm not going to bitch at you for mowing the lawn. It's when people go back to being simple, when people stop being little crybabies because everything that you do affects them. My thing is more about the people, not what you are going to get back from the country, but it's how everybody acts. You know, mind your own friggin' business. You know, if I'm not affecting or hurting you in any way, then don't worry about what I'm doing. Doesn't matter if it's right, wrong, or indifferent. It doesn't involve you. You know, like our parents used to say to us, you know, it doesn't involve you, stay out of it. You know, like, and that's just it. That's the America I want.
Jumped off the cliff. Would you do it too? I mean, shit like that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. If you pick it, you pick it. If you don't, you don't. But either way, shut your mouth and don't be running to everybody telling on and all of that stuff. Just that's what I want. Just people to be able to operate the way they want to operate. You get one shot at this earth, and if you can't do it because everybody else has got their hand up your ass, then you really did get robbed. Like we're all getting robbed living in this
Oh
one
yeah.
time that everybody's telling us what to do. You know,
Yeah.
that's where
You know
we're at.
what's what's funny too, Darren, and this is a funny little quirk in there is what the number one phrase in the American language that's understood all over the world.
Oh, I can imagine. No, I
Absolutely,
don't.
That
Jonathan.
fuck off
Absolutely.
is in any language you can say fuck off in America, and they know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean.
Yep.
And Lauren,
Alone.
the more, how old's your kid, if you don't mind me asking? Because up to a certain age, if they can put so much fear into that child, they can exploit
Yeah.
that, and that's what they've been
M-
doing with our kids.
MK Ultra on children.
Just
Yeah,
like
I mean, they're not doing. Listen, they're not grabbing groups of kids and doing that. That's so when they do that
No.
farming for adrenochrome and stuff. That's far and few between. And if you want to know where it comes, look at the bottom of your kid's feet. There'll be slice wounds there. They'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
They're not doing that on anybody. You can't just go in and and then just take a little bit of blood. There's rituals that go with it. There's a whole line that goes with that stuff.
hmm
I mean, I know that they're doing it. I know it is in the big time, but it's a very small percentage of the kids that are actually being exposed to the adrenochrome stuff. And that's if it's even I mean, come on, guys. I know it. I know what it says. I know all this. Even Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. is based on adrenochrome. Think about it. They go out, they scream, they make the kids so scared. They make the electricity go in the town with screams, right? Kids' fears. That's what they run their towns by. That's what they live off of. Same thing. Like that's what's adrenochrome. So that's what they're trying to be like. Look, it even says it here. Um, I'm sure it does happen. I think those people that do that are sick, disgusting pigs. And if I ever saw one of those son of a bitches on the street, I swear to God, I'd rip their freaking heart out and I'd rip their freaking larynx out and I would show it to them, shove it. Never mind what I would do. But I'm just saying, I ever see those people. But I don't think it's as much of a big deal as sideline media is trying to make it out to be. Um, that's just my opinion. I stay with that. I think we need to keep the focus on the kids that we are seeing in front of us that are being taken and how we're going to defeat this machine that's right staring us in the eye. Because this is the other thing, right? This movement has so many parts to it. It's hard to stay focused on one thing. Like you'd be sitting here one day reading about, termination of parental rights, and by the end of the night, you're in a rabbit hole talking about the adrenochrome thing and this, and this. And you've covered a span of 50 years of information. I mean, just in the time that I've been in this movement, how much stuff I've seen transfer from it was this to this to this to this. I mean, it all goes along in a pattern. And that's the pattern that they feed us of information that we think that we're fighting them.
Well, you brought up Monsters Inc. I want to bring up something that will even blow everyone else's mind, just to kind of, throw that out there. Since she said no, not Monsters Inc. Man, everything I knew is a lie. Well, wouldn't it be even more of the lie to tell you that Bobby's world? Bobby was actually inside his mind the whole time. He was dead.
I don't. Yeah.
It's there's a lot of things out there, man. Like I said, this is a psychological warfare. There's many angles. Anything between the food,
psychological as well as spiritual.
Yeah. Oh, well, absolutely. They're interconnected. And all this stuff gets bombarding us. And like I said, it's one of those things of saying we've come so far away that we've constantly entertained. I mean, before, so now these people have kids, and like at a toddler, they've already got a fucking tablet. And so, well, my kids got to get used to it anyway. When are they ever going to connect?
They didn't work for it. They didn't do anything for it. They were just giving it.
And this whole thing with this other thing to where they turn around and they, well, break it. Well, that's okay. Now you're going to go buy me a new one. Shit. And half the times I've seen kids, sometimes in some places, it's like, oh shit, if I would have ever heard that, or if I would have ever done that, I tell you what, my grandma would have fucking whooped my fucking ass. Or this, if I was in the store acting like that, ain't no fucking way.
Yeah, our grandmothers back in the day, man, they fucking whoop your ass and throw shit at you.
Oh no, it ain't just that. You had community. When you was getting your ass whooped and you was being drugged to the bathroom to be dealt with, somebody else's mom would have the shop card. That's okay, baby. I'll get it. I'll take you over there. I got your back. Supporting each other in the community. That child needed discipline. That's okay. The community's here for you. Go take care of that kid. After the damn pool.
So
you don't have that. It's just the opposite. Now it's let's call CPS or abusing somebody.
Alexa, stop.
Alexa, shut the hell up.
Ribs were done.
So
yeah, the community did it, but we were talking about that on Tiff and the Punisher earlier. Same thing, like mind your freaking business. Like you said, they would come over and they would gladly help you. You see the little kid getting ripped in the house by their arm because they just did something naughty. Well, the neighbors, like you said, come over, close the car door, make sure that you guys okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But they weren't going to let that moment get interrupted by you discipline. And no one ever stepped in. No one ever stepped in between you. They discipline. And if there was something to say, this is a problem with moms and dads. Moms and dads, you were too hard on him. Why did you do that to him? Don't you ever show your kids. If you show the kids that there's a break in your armor in front of them, they will run you over. They will run you over and they'll never have any respect for you. You show mom and dad right there 100 at each other, they can't break that, then you're going to have the best respect you've ever had from them. But you show
those kids push your boundaries to try and break apart you two. Manipulate you several times. Trust me, I've raised 3 and working on 3 more, and it's the same fucking story, different method. Same thing. I want attention. Fuck off. Yeah. And when you don't, go figure it out. Go play. Go do something.
And it's not that we don't love them. There's a difference in abuse. Look, I always use this example. So there's a woman that's going down the street. She sees the mom grabbing a little kid on the side of the road. She's shaking him like this, shaking him like baby syndrome, But what are you thinking, right? So some woman calls up CPS. She says, I can't believe this. There was a woman on the side of the road. She was shaking this baby like no tomorrow, yada, 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 right? But in reality, what happened? There was just a tractor trailer truck come flying down that road. The mom and the boy were having a kite, flying a kite right there. The kite string went. The mom and the boy were running towards the little boy, took off, started running towards the tractor trailer truck. The mom got there just in time to grab him, pick him up, fling him out of the dirt so he didn't get hit by the car. Now, this mom isn't hitting him because she's mad. She's hitting him because she is so scared herself that she's going to make sure that this moment will never, ever, ever leave her mind or his. And it's not a matter of anger or out of sorts like that. It's just that way. But now someone, because they didn't pay attention, this woman's going to be in trouble now.
Miss Danielle.
Yes, Herbert. I'm going to do it, Herbert. It's worth talking about. Some plan Texas is working on. Okay. How are you, Danielle?
I'm good. Just
thanks for coming.
I figured I'd join in instead of being in the audience because it keeps kicking me off.
Let me get this chat out of you. Let me get this thing on your face here.
Huh?
How's Bubba doing?
He's doing good. A lot better. He's going to be. They did the observation and everything, getting him back on the right meds, and he's going to transition, go through some physical therapy and stuff to transition and come back home. So it's. I mean, he's not going to be. He's not going. No Texas. And the way they've done him it's messed up. I mean, all his lab results were abnormal, and there's other things that are concerning. And just in general, I was even watching video visits from over time.
Yeah, I was watching your show earlier.
Yeah, and that's what we're gonna do in here after a late night show. We're gonna play more video visits because you can tell. For one, they purposely sent the wrong meds. Like they didn't send all his meds at all with him. So that right there, and you can't just stop taking those mental health meds like that. You can't do that. And that
psychological break.
Right. And he went and he shut down, and he's not himself. He's definitely traumatized. He's definitely, there's more to what's going on with him than what the mind manipulation and the things he's damaged. He's not himself. He's not. Stuff happened to him while he was out there. I can assure you of that.
I'm pretty sure they did the same shit to my oldest daughter.
Yeah, and I tell you, I thought it was. I didn't. I would have never expected anything like this. Like this is just. I mean, it gets so serious. It even goes down to his man parts, if you know what I mean.
Well,
That's how fucked up it is.
For a kid to not want to have, any contact with either parent, they did something, said something.
Of course. Well, it's not only that, Vinny, but you got to think too. Think of what they say to them and what they do to them and all of this stuff. But they don't get to hear it from you because they don't let you talk to them.
Right.
No,
so they have no clue what's going on, and in their mind now, you've abandoned them. Why aren't you talking to me? And I'm sure that's what they're fed on the other side. Like my situation is the same. Like how do you go from talking to your kid all the time to not at all?
Right.
So you're not allowed to tell them what was going on.
Like my son has never been away from family ever, and for this to happen, I mean, not only was he traumatized from my mother's death unexpectedly, and then taken from the only home he's ever known. Huh?
I wanted to ask, was he home when your mother passed away?
Yeah.
He was?
Yeah.
I was curious of how he was, because this is one of my wonders, is when you go and you get your child back, and let's say someone passes away while they're gone, especially if they're young or if they have some sort of a mental problem. How do they feel when they come back and that loved one is gone? Like, what's that like to them? What's that like? How do you prepare them for that?
That's one of the big worries that I had. Because also my dad, my father, was the only man in his life for 17 years. He was the father figure for my son, and for him to just dip on my kid, it's hurt my son. It has, and you can tell. But with my mom, I didn't want to bring nothing up to him, but he was never told. So when he come back, he thought Meemaw was
right there.
Yeah, and that's something that I didn't know how to handle that.
Right. Like, do you leave it on? Do you not speak about it and hope that he doesn't notice that she's not around, or what do you?
Right.
What do you do?
And he saw so we tried our best to and being back around family, he was great, he was awesome. And then he saw like a pillowcase that was actually the Christmas snoring in the background, jeez. But the pillowcase that had his name sewed into it, like a Christmas, it was like a Christmas present bag. And I can tell, and I said, where'd you get this from? And he said, oh, that's from Meemaw. And he started tearing up, and you could tell. I was like, oh boy, and yeah, but the things he would say about he teared up when it come to my mother. But when right before some of these episodes, get this is what's weird. Right before some of these episodes, he would mimic like to himself, mumble to himself, Pawpaw. But he would have the evilest look on his face, and makes you wonder a lot. So if my dad's listening, Dad, what's up? Because we're gonna find out. I promise you. The boy is he's got things going on, yes, and being back around. I mean, you got to think the last memory he has of here in Georgia was being stripped from the house and taken and just just thrown to the state and taken away and being told nothing. So, right. So he's but he handled it very well. But what was getting me was the whole pawpaw thing. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
why? And I know he's very upset with my father. Of course, he has every right to be, just like
Right.
my brother has every right to be as well. I mean, what dad doesn't go to his wife's cremation? Hello? Like, he was getting glasses that day. Hello, dad. What the is your problem?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. My dad,
How long were they together? How long was your dad?
39 years.
Oh wow.
And he was like, I mean, when I tell you, they were like, my dad was like, he depended on my mother. My mother was, of course, she's the one with the balls, wore the pants in the relationship. Definitely, she was the one that was like the discipliner and the private investigator.
Right.
Yeah, she was the one. And dad, he worked and everything. Dad had, they had a life that any woman would want, like the all-American dream. He got a good man, had a good job. My dad got a job with the county before he met my mom. Him and my mom got married, and they got married, had a house, and then started having kids. So, and they were together.
Right.
Yeah. So, and for my father to be now the way he is, I understand. Yeah, he's got the first stages of dementia, and because after she passed, he was very hateful towards me. I was kind of expecting it because I'm the oldest and I'm the one that could take the heat. He's grieving. I was prepared for it, but I was not prepared for what happened to my child. Like that came out of nowhere, and that was like a sideswipe. Like, even other people in my family tell me, that where in the hell did the toxic aunt have any say over my child? Like, and then they would like, well, where the hell did your dad ever listen to her? And I'm like,
okay,
exactly. So really, what's going on?
Right, that's crazy.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah,
and my son.
So to answer one's question earlier, someone asked. Someone asked this, and I want to answer this question. Okay. The court says you have to exhaust all methods, right? All right. Yep. I'm going to change that right now. Williams versus Reed, a case in which the court held that exhausting of state administrative remedies is not required. It brings claim under 42 USC 1983.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have an explanation for that, though?
So you don't have to.
I don't, but you can ask our buddy, Mr. Obsidian, because he's the one that just sent me that.
Yeah. There's also too, because I know that came out when my mandamus was returned to me. It had put that in there, and I believe that Malibu Dallas had found something else too, and he did some sort of ruling. So check his stuff out because he has something on that too about the court's exhausting all remedies. So there's that too. But guys, I want to play Herbert's video here real quick for him.
Okay.
Yeah, because then I gotta go. I gotta get to bed. I've been up early.
It's Vinny's bedtime. Vinny's bedtime.
Vinny's tired.
Yeah. We're an hour past Vinny's bedtime, right, Vinny?
Vinny, go to bed, Vinny.
Vinny, bedtime.
Very good night, little boy. Sweet dreams, my little Vinny.
I wanted to do the show, even though I've had an intense migraine since after I came in.
Oh, Jesus, you didn't say that, Vinny. Vinny, you sent that to Messenger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Those are no fun.
No, migraines suck.
It's coming at the back of my neck because I overworked myself today.
Yeah,
I get those caffeine headaches.
I'm trying to get the yard cleaned up because there's no snow in the yard now.
Well, it's supposed to snow. We're supposed to get some snow here in a couple of days.
No.
What up, Darren?
I'm just saying, dude. That's real.
Oh no.
Hey, at least it will be cleaned up. I ain't worried about it.
Vinny, you sent me two of them here. Which one's which?
It's the bottom one.
Okay, everybody. This video is from Herbert. Let's see what kind of homework Herbert's been doing here. Share screen, video from Herbert. And
Vinny, did you see Athena where she said message her that? Can you send her that?
Yeah, I can send it to you, Athena.
Yeah.
I am the National Minister of Politics for the New Black Panther Nation, and I'm also the state chair of the Texas Democratic
Dr.
Black
Matthews.
that's over the entire state of Texas.
Yep.
We are here today because we are standing in solidarity with parents, grandparents, family members that has been affected by the state of Texas child welfare system by the name of Texas Department of Family
Cherokee
Protective
County
Services.
CPS.
We're here today to put them on blast and put them on notice for their atrocious activities that they have been doing to these families in the state of Texas. This is not a race thing. This is not a Democratic thing. This is not a Republican thing. This is a family thing. And one thing about Texas that we love our children. And we do not stand by a child welfare agency that is designed supposed to help families when they are going through a tremendous time. You know, they supposed to provide training for these families. They supposed to provide therapy and services and things for these families in order for families supposed to reunite. And that's not what's happening. What we have and that's happening right now across our state, what we have noticed, what we have seen firsthand, is that you're removing these children from their families, you're not giving the families the opportunity to fight for their kids, and then you're putting these kids in a far more worse situation to where they are being abused under your watch. This is the purpose why this federal lawsuit is in place against Texas Department of Family Protective Services and Texas Department of Health and Human Services. This is why, because it is your job supposed to protect the unprotected, and this is not what's happening. What you're doing, you're taking these kids, you racking up this Title IV funding so you can line your pockets and have these big top salaries, and then you're not giving these families the opportunity to fight for their kids. You're not giving our kids in the state of Texas, a fighting chance in order for them to be able to become productive citizens in an ever-changing society, and that is not what's happening. We have direct evidence to show that our child welfare system is failing. Our child welfare system don't give a damn about our families, and they damn sure don't give a damn about our kids. So I'm not out here rah-rahing. That's not what we're doing. We got direct evidence to show the corruption. We need to shed a light on what they're doing, just like a roach in the kitchen when you cut the light on. That is what we're doing, okay? The chickens have come home to roost. The jig is up. This is something that's happening in all 254 counties. We are going to go around to all 254 counties. We have started a movement. They need to do their damn job, and that's not what's happening. So, just to show, we have Miss Candace Jeffcoat. Miss Candace has been fighting for her children for years, damn near 10 years. This was a mother who served time in prison. This is a mother who had drugs as an issue. This is a mother who turned around and changed her life around. And you do not want to give her the opportunity. You gave her false promises and you gave her false hope. And we let you know now that she has support and you're not going to do it to her. Look, here's an example. This was a child safety plan right here with her child that CPS put in place to place her child with a known offender. So you removing kids and then you put them in harm's way with someone that got a heavy, extensive criminal record. Then we have another. This young man right here, how can he adopt a kid? You put her child. You're not giving her the opportunity to fight for her child, and you put her child in somebody's house that looks like this, that has a known criminal and arrest history. CPS, shame on you, honey. Shame on you.
Shame on you.
And then we have the broken promises that were sent to her via social media in those DMs. Telling her they're giving her the opportunity. You're going to be able to get your kids back and all of this stuff. But then I'm looking at this courtroom that's behind us that completely did the opposite. That is unacceptable. See, I want to show you the real live proof of what is happening.
You know, that's the same county what I'm doing with in Georgia.
Who felt compelled to reach out to Miss Candace and tell Miss Candace, we know that you have got railroaded. CPS caseworker just told this lady that she got railroaded. You're not giving her the opportunity to fight for her kids. That is not right. And then You remove children out to where they can get raped in your custody, CPS. We have a kid that was here. This is where those CWAP homes were located, surrounded by sex offenders.
Holy
And then
smokes.
this child was raped by a sex offender. 13 years old. You're supposed to be protecting our kids. This is not what you're doing. Then we have children that's in child without placement, which is called CWAP, where they put our kids in hotels and put them subject to human trafficking. And you not having food for these kids. I walked CWAP. I've seen it for myself. These are direct pictures that I've taken, because I've seen it. I've seen the horrors of CWAP. So you can't lie. So look at this. No food. But let you don't have any food, they ready to take all your kids. Then, look how much CPS is making of children being adopted. Look how much they make. CPS is making $4,000 per child with an additional $2,000 added for special needs children that are taken from their parents and put up for adoption. So you know they get an extra $2,000 when they put your kids on all this medicine. They get an extra $2,000 when your children have a disability. So again, you're not giving these parents the opportunity to fight for their kids because you on the money train. Not on our watch, not in our state. We're not going to play this with none of them.
It's all a money thing.
Texas is receiving $250 million to place our children that they take from their families in unlicensed, unregulated placement where they are subject to human trafficking. So who's the real human trafficker? CPS on my watch, according to this. Who's the real human trafficker? You don't want to give this mother the opportunity to fight for her grandkids. I mean, for her children. You don't want to give this grandmother the opportunity to fight for her grandkids. This is unacceptable. This is something that I've seen firsthand. This is not something that I'm just talking about. I've seen it, and this is unacceptable.
Right.
So this is dealing with Anderson County. I'll deal with that later. But this judge back here, your days is numbered, because you're not going to stay and do what you're doing. And how do you sleep at night separating these families? How can you do that? That is unacceptable. You're not giving this mother a right to fight for her special needs kid. This kid has autism. This kid is 19 years old. You want to give him to be in the ward of the state and he got a mother? I don't think so.
They say the kid was 19.
And we are not going to tolerate it. So,
So, I'm going to talk about...
All right. Herbert, that's a good piece, man. Do you want to say something about it, Herbert, first?
I received that from my cousin, Dr. Fowler. So I thought I would share it with you guys.
Well, thank you. That's really good. That was really good.
That's the same county that I'm dealing with over here in Georgia. Cherokee. Look at
What's
that.
her name? Do we get her name or anything?
Huh?
Here, see, her name was
Dr.
on there.
Matthews?
Her name was on there on the video when you listen to it again.
Dr. Candace Matthews.
Dr. Candace Matthews.
Yeah. She's called the Hammer out there in
Oh,
Texas.
that's her, the Hammer?
Yeah. I've talked to her on the phone before. And she
we need to get her on the show.
She would come on the show, yeah. I can give you her.
I think it would be a good idea if you could talk to her.
I got her. I can text her.
Yeah, could you?
Yeah, I got her. Where's my? I got it. I got her number in my contacts, so I can text her. I'm not like I'll do it in the morning.
I knew that video would be very relevant to the show.
Very good, Herbert.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, Dr. Fowler, what she's going through with her grandchildren. My son was. It's crazy. It's like exactly what like she talks about. I mean, that's what I've thought about the whole time with my son being out of this facility.
And they are more than out on Facebook. They're out to the news out in Texas too. I saw that.
Yes. Who? Dr. Matthews?
Yeah, oh yeah. She's got a big thing going on out in
Yeah,
Texas.
and she will call them out. Like I thought about with her getting her after the facilities out there, because when I tell you what the Senate Finance Committee put out about the warehouses of neglect, I read that again recently since my son's been home and how he's been acting and just things that he's been doing, and I'll be damned, it hits it right on that right. I mean, right on the head. I mean, there's more to his behavior than what
All right, he's just not a misbehaved kid.
Who?
Your
My
son.
son?
Right.
No.
This
This
is
is not
a created
normal.
pattern. Right.
It's evil. It's straight evil. My son is not an evil child. My son is a very loving, sweet, be kind. That's always been a thing. Be kind to be kind to others. He says his prayers. He listens to Christian music. Okay. He's very loving. He's comes from a loving family. My nanny was the role model. Like she is what molded that boy who he is before he got put. This being done to him was out of pure spite, hatred, and just outright
malice, right?
Yes. And the family member, they didn't want him to take care of him. They didn't want me to have him. But my thing is what does she have any room to talk? She has no say over my child, at all. So what the state did and going with her, it's all about my kids, my girls, man. It's so greedy and selfish and
greed will destroy the world.
Yes. And text for getting her on the show, and I would share. Okay, definitely. I will text. Definitely contact Miss Matthews in the morning. And she usually texts right back pretty quick. The last time I talked to her was like right after I talked with Malibu a couple of years ago. So yeah, because I when he got sent out to Texas, I was trying to reach anybody. I mean, I was just yeah, and I still talking to the congressman next. It's been moved to Tuesday, so
that's cool.
Yeah, and
yeah. Do you have Dr. Fowler's number? Because she would like to contact her also.
Okay. No, but yeah, I can get it from you if that's cool, Herbert.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that after the show.
Yeah, that new number that you gave, is that your current number?
That's
let's not exchange numbers like this over here.
But yes,
no, we're not exchanging.
Yeah,
we're not exchanging them. She already did.
Yeah,
I'm just confirming.
Yeah,
is that the number?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to show y'all. Okay, so y'all remember me talking about the Nunc Pro Tunc thing with Okay, so y'all see this? See this envelope right here? It's got the certified. This is the original envelope that came with the petition where they filed back in 2022 for the petition for dependency. Well, let me tell you, what they filed in the courts right here. It's here that I guess they didn't think I got it because look what's on the back. It's got the certified mail thing still attached.
Right.
So they think it's lost in the system. Well, you know what? No, it's right here in my possession. It did eventually come to my mailbox way after the court date, but I was not at that court date, and they mailed it out supposedly like a day and a half before the court date, knowing darn well it didn't get to me till like 2 weeks later.
They're
but
supposed
apparently
to be there 10
it's still
days
lost
before.
Right, and it's still lost in the system because hey, there's the
there's
but
the
card. And what I was saying, that right there is the answer to my whole case, because they've already Nunc Pro Tunc'd that petition twice. Swear to God. Like, and even on my adjudication and disposition order, look, when I get my case file, it's going to be hilarious. They have my whole thing, like this right here was the start of all this bullshit, This envelope right here is what gave me, and then when they started sending stuff to my aunt's house, the good aunt, for all three of the two guardians and then me, we would all not be living under the same roof. I'm sorry.
That's $1 billion envelope right there.
Right.
That's
Look.
it. That's it.
Yeah. See that, guys? See that?
Oh yeah.
That is the original. It's the petition for dependency that they filed back in November of 2022 when my son entered foster care. But they have nunc pro tunc this. They took a February 6th court date that I was at and nunc pro tunked it back to, guess what day? November 10th. So it's
Yeah,
going
well,
to be
they
great.
did a lot of that shit in our case too. I noticed the dates were wrong and everything else.
Check your paperwork at the very bottom. If I think I have a paper that may have it on there. The nunc pro tunc. Look at the bottom. It's an italicized lettering, and it will be at the very bottom of each paper, and it'll say in the interest of so and so, and it'll be like italicized, and that is where. And then when you go to the last page of your document of your court order, where the judge signs off, right above it will be where the dates that they nunc pro tunc back to. And if it was, but always check your documents, because I can tell you right now, if y'all look at mine, it's a mess. It's hilarious, honestly. It's like coloring pages or scribble scrabble. Like, I mean, the adjudication, the order of adjudication and disposition, when I was in the holding cell in the jail, I mean, at the courthouse, I was at the courthouse, but they kept me in the holding cell in the basement. So I was transported there, but I was never taken in the courtroom. Well, they ended up, let me show y'all this. Hold on. See this right here? That is the order of adjudication. And just look at it. It wrote in, like, come on. I mean, it's crazy. See all that? See how this stuff's wrote in?
Jesus.
And that's the case. Wait. Let's see. That's the case number, supposedly. But yeah, and then it gets better. Look at all that. It's all wrote in.
She wants to. Lauren asked you what nunc pro tunc actually meant.
Nunc pro tunc means now before then. What it is sorry guys. What it is I always laugh at this. This is my favorite piece of paper because it's hilarious. Sorry, but nunc pro tunc is it means now before then. It's where they take a court. It's only supposed to be used if you have it on your documents or anything. I'm going to tell you right now, it is only used for clerical error. The judge's signature. That is it. They better have a proof of whatever, because it's not supposed to be used for facts or findings. They cannot add back, try to put things that happened in the now in the past. They can't do that. It's for the judge's signature. That is it. I can prove it in the child welfare manual here in Georgia. I mean, it says it. And what it is they take a court date, and they will but it's only supposed to be put for the judge's signature to be nunc pro tunc for that date that court order was done. That's the only thing. Otherwise, they are not supposed to put new facts or findings in it. And I will show y'all an example real quick. Got it right here. That's what I meant to do to begin with. Sorry. But right here, let me get it. Hold on, y'all. But it's now before then, and it's where they try to backdate stuff that happens in the now, and they try to put it in the past. I mean, try from the I think I said that. I think I said that right, didn't I?
Yep.
Like something that happens in the now, they try to put it in the past, and that's wrong, and that is not supposed to be used. I mean, they better have a hell of a good excuse of why they had to use it. Okay, so here you go. Here is the example of where am I? Right here. So do you see this at the bottom? See where that says in the interest? See right there at the very bottom of the page? See that?
Yep.
Okay, so it will be at the bottom left hand. If you're looking at your paperwork, it'll be at the very bottom of each page. Okay, let me show that again. Okay, so and then it'll say right here, see on this one it says the parties shall return to court for adjudication and disposition hearing on November 17th. But look at the date where it was nunc pro tunc, February of 2023. You see that?
Wow. That's
So
crazy.
and that is nunc pro tunc. So this court date was supposedly November 17th, which I was not present for, the November 17th one. It was actually December 15th was the when I was incarcerated and I was in the holding cell. But February 27th, like what the hell is that? I was at court February 6th. So they're having court proceedings without me.
Yeah,
There's
which ex partes against the law too
Yes.
in these cases.
And that right there has been the whole case is ex parte. I can tell you right now, because I'm telling you, I have the knowledge that I have and about my case and everything is because I had to put my feet on the ground and get at it. Sorry, y'all, my aunt's calling, but that should be fine. But he's fine.
Well, let's
but
do last words. We'll do last words so you can get your aunt. Then I know your show's coming on here in 10 minutes.
Well, also, what is this? I wanted to show y'all something else I just noticed. What is up with that? See that judge thing?
Yeah.
It says February. Okay, well, look at why is that? And that says February 27th. Wait a minute
that
now.
says received on what date?
February 24th, but yet this order was on February 27th.
The order was made after the receiving of it?
Yeah. How is that? Go Danielle.
Hello, Mr. Frog Judge.
Look,
That's
this
crazy.
whole notebook right here, y'all, is what is up.
Wow.
This is my yeah.
That's freaking crazy.
I mean, yeah, it gets so much better. Like they're ridiculous. They are absolutely ridiculous.
So guys, make sure you check her out. You're on in what, like 20 minutes? You're doing a show?
Yes.
So make sure you check out Danielle here in another 20 minutes. Well, probably as soon as we get out of here and she talks to her aunt.
Yeah, I'm gonna be showing some visits.
All right.
It says in violation of the guardianship order.
Violation, these things. Wait till you see what her son is like. This will blow your mind, man, to see how this kid's treated. But Herbert, how about some last words, bud?
Yeah. Well, like I always say, if you knew better, you would have done better. But it's not too late because you're still in a position where you can fight, and stay on top of the judges and CPS and all their shenanigans that they're doing. Don't fight with the police. They're just doing their job. If you feel their job is wrong, report them to their supervisor. But don't go up against them because they'll pull charges against you.
Yeah. And the police were awesome.
And the other thing too is that don't let the CPS or police into your home unless they have a warrant signed by a judge.
Okay.
And the warrant has to be specific to why they need to come in.
Yes, sir. All right, Danielle.
Everyone, these are, we're all real people. These are real children going through things that unimaginable pain that it's unexplainable. And just keep fighting and don't give up. I can't give up. Y'all don't give up and keep up. And we're gonna bring this to the light. It's coming. It's gonna be. I really do feel that my case is about to be a big eye opener. I have a good feeling about that. I just hope I don't screw it up and I do it right because my ADHD, But yeah. So I think in the next coming weeks we're about to see a lot go on because there's about to be a lot exposed. Like,
wait till you guys see the chat and wait till Darren sees what I just sent him.
Oh boy, I can't wait for videos. What do you got, Vinny?
My last words are this: keep fighting, never give up. It's time to pack it up and everyone unite under one, and time to fight these crooked fucks and get our kids home.
Right? Oh, yeah. Yep, that's
one is tough, but a pack is unstoppable.
That's right. Brenda, first of all, you never were in the right back room. We never saw you, so we did not let you in. We love you, and we would have let you in. And don't forget, Brenda's show's tomorrow at 3, and we'll be.
She's about to be on with me,
but she's going to be on with She's going to be on with Danielle here in just a few minutes. So everybody be back. And if you're going to be involved with CPS, remember, shut your mouth. Don't tell them a thing. Call one of us. Call someone else, but don't don't engage with them, guys. Don't even talk to them. Don't forget, email is the best way to communicate with these losers. Just so you can always prove what they've done and what they have not done when they try to lie and put those words in your mouth. So email.
That's the only way I talk to them.
Otherwise, their voice isn't worth listening to. That all being said, I'm the CPS Punisher. We are out of here. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, all.
See y'all in a minute.
Bye. Take care.
Yeah, don't forget Danielle's on in just a few. And there we go.
The world getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well, baby, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate, separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet, the storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate the values of our country and our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight, pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on these streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour, troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpents.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh Lord, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, but chose to just neglect it. Deflected by some breaking news, oh, we just accept it. Expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objective, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, lying not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheek. Drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I'll pray for forgiveness.
I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. 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 We need you now.
One day,
I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need need you now.
Is that the one that works? Couldn't even hear it, baby.